Welcome to Brudiclad, Telchor Engineer. Hope you're excited. This has been a really fun deck, and I cannot wait to break down the deck. But before we jump into the deck tech, look at beautiful Phyrexia, man. Look how nice that is. You can take your kids there if you're looking for a summer vacation spot. It's yeah, it looks pretty nice. Brudiclad can be your tour guide. So we're playing Brudiclad today. Telchor Engineer. That's going to be 6 total mana. Creature tokens you control have haste. Then at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 blue mirror artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. Now, so long story short, what does that mean? So you get a lot of tokens on the battlefield. Then at the beginning of combat, you get a 2/1 blue mirror artifact creature token. Then you can have your tokens become a copy of any token that you have. That counts as non-creature tokens. That counts as creature tokens. Let's say that we use something like Fairy Artisan to get a token that's a copy of our opponent's creatures. That is a wonderful way to turn all of your little 1/1 elementals into some really nice, really big creatures. Other than that, if for some reason you wanted to turn all of your creature tokens into a bunch of treasure tokens, you can certainly do that. It's not limited to a creature token. That's the fun thing about this card, is that it basically just all of your tokens become a copy of another token. Now, as far as this particular commander, what are we doing with this deck? This is definitely, I built this deck in a manner of, it's kind of like a blue-red tempo deck, you know. We do have Brudiclad as our commander, but for the most part, what we're trying to do is get down some sort of token enabler, do what we normally want to do, you know, cast some cantrips, cast some counter spells, get some of those tokens built up. Then once we get to that 6 mana spot to go for Brudiclad, we can use one of our bigger spells to make a copy of one of our opponent's creatures, and then that's going to allow us to kind of swing in for lethal. And I will definitely kind of explain the actual win condition or some of the different lines of play as we jump into the deck tech. But the too long didn't read. That's what we've got going on. We definitely want to build up an entire board of army tokens and then turn them into something really nice. Now, one of the ways to really take advantage of Brudiclad is by running a lot of token enablers, stuff like Psy, Young Pyromancer. Being able to get these down early and just still do what you normally want to do in a commander deck, you know, get your artifacts out, start ramping, get down Young Pyromancer, go for Serum Visions, go for Brainstorm, go for counter spells. You're going to be slowly building up your army and at the same time still kind of controlling the board state in a way, and that's perfect for this commander. There's probably other builds out there of Brudiclad, but this is immediately where I took it, and I was really happy with the results of it. Same thing with stuff like Murmuring Mystic and Talran Sky Summoner. Once again, get these down, start doing what you normally want to do. You're just going to get that 2-for-1 effect, and that's really going to help you start building up that win condition. And at the same time, let's say your opponent doesn't have a lot going on their board state. Simply getting a lot of tokens down, swinging in, and being aggressive might be enough to kind of help you close the game out. Once you finally do get down Brudiclad, or simply just close the game out. You know, an unchecked Young Pyromancer or Talrand, get those flying tokens. That's going to be some a lot of fun. Now, there's some other kind of unique ways that we can take advantage of tokens. We do have Rabid and Pongify, and with both of these destroy target creature, we're going to get a 3/3 lizard token. It is perfectly fine to destroy one of your own creatures to get a 3/3 and turn all of your 1/1s into 3/3. So that is kind of, you can use these cards as kind of a in a proactive way, but you can also use it in a reactive way. You know, let's say that you want to try to go for some combat damage, or you can simply just turn your 1/1 into a 3/3 really quick before combat, the combat step, and swing in and have some fun. Your opponent will definitely love it. Same thing with Swan Song. You know, this is in here to help protect the deck, but you can sequence it to where if you get something on the stack, you can Swan Song your own song, end up with a 2/2 bird token. Now you can turn those 1/1 elementals into an army of 2/2 Frankies, and you're good to go. Flying 2/2 birds, that might be the difference in allowing you to kind of close the game out. Now, another thing that's really kind of good for the deck is kind of amplifying our creature tokens. So this can be Quasi-Duplicate and Cackling Counterpart. Both of these are going to slot perfectly. Let's say that we get down Young Pyromancer on the battlefield. We go for Quasi-Duplicate on Young Pyromancer, we get to make a copy of it. Then we go for the Jumpstart out of the graveyard, make another copy of it, start casting our spells. Next thing you know, we have an entire token army. So running some sort of package that makes a copy of some of these token enablers is definitely something that you want to do. And depending on how you build your Brudiclad deck, you know, something like Cackling Counterpart, you can run some of your own finisher creatures in your deck and then make a copy of it, have that token enter, and that's going to allow you to kind of make a copy of those with Brudiclad. Same thing with Shahili's Artistry in supplement form. These are going to be kind of more of our win condition cards. So let's say that we go for Artistry. That's going to allow us to immediately make a token that's a copy of our opponent's creature. It is 6 mana. So, but at that point in the game, if we got to the points where we're going for a 6 mana artistry, hopefully we're going to be winning the game. So, and then that's going to allow us to make a copy of whatever big creature finisher they have. Then that's going to turn all of our tokens into that copy. And also, the fact that you can make a copy of an artifact and a creature, simply, let's say your opponent doesn't have something good for you to choose, artistry is definitely going to allow you to end up with a really nice tempo play and simply just being able to just kind of duplicate their artifacts and really allow your ramp to kind of start to build up. Now, form. This is basically kind of the, if you could put one spell in the command zone alongside Brudiclad, this would be Brudiclad's partner. I love this card in this deck. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Put a token on the battlefield that's a copy of it. You are limited to what, you can set your deck up in a way where you can take advantage of that. But the way I have mine set up is that we're hoping that our opponent gets down their finisher creature. We can bounce it back to the hand and then have all of our tokens turn into that. So that's definitely the kind of what this deck is based around. Get down Brudiclad, get the tokens going, and use form to bounce their big finisher creature back, and then use that finisher creature to turn all your creatures into a really nice board state. And also, Rite of Replication. That's another way to kind of make a copy of your opponent's creatures, because all you really need is just a token copy of a creature to really kind of send this deck into the next level, and Rite of Replication definitely helps you do that. Or simply just get a bunch of young Pyromancers on the battlefield. Let's get 5 of those going, and that is some good Magic time. Your opponent will be like, wow, that's really cool. I'm glad I'm losing to that. The other thing they'll never say that. One of the fun things in this deck also kind of works out in the enchantment-wise. We have Thopter Spy Network, Metallurgic Summonings, and Mechanized Production. These are ways that we can just kind of slowly over time build up that tokens. Let's say that we get down Young Pyromancer, something happens to Young Pyromancer. We can get down Thopter Spy Network. We definitely want to have artifacts on the battlefield. We get that 1/1 Thopter. It has flying, so we can try to keep some of those Planeswalkers in check. And it's just a really good way to kind of slowly build up the token base. Same thing with Metallurgic Summonings. We get that down and we start casting some of our spells. Let's say we tap out for a really nice pull from tomorrow. That's going to be 8 total mana. End up with an 8/8 construct token. Then we're going to be able to turn all of them into 8/8 constructs. Yes, and the same thing with Mechanized Production, so we can put it on an artifact. It does give the deck kind of like a Plan D alternative win condition, but if you get enough tokens going and you turn it into artifact, you can certainly use that, but that's going to be turn after turn, some really nice tokens. It does kind of leave you a little open if you're putting it on an actual artifact, but playing your deck that cares about getting a ton of tokens out there, so why not? Let's have some fun. Now, one of the ways that this deck really shines is by using some of these land tokens, Care Keep and Gargoyle Castle. These may, especially Gargoyle Castle being 5 total mana, it may seem a little expensive, but once you get down Gargoyle Castle, there's just sometimes, especially in 1 versus 1 commander, where you really want to just get as many tokens on the battlefield. You just get down to the nitty gritty. You've traded a lot of resources. Being able to just get an extra body on the battlefield to turn into a copy of some sort of creature typically is going to allow you to kind of hopefully close the game out. Now with Care Keep, that's going to be one of those cards where you're just slowly going to be building up those tokens. But running stuff like Gargoyle Castle is definitely worth it. You may kind of see that in an upcoming video after the deck tech, why it's kind of important to run cards like lands like this. And then also Foundry of the Cancels and Spawning Bed. These are basically instant board states. You go for that Foundry of the Cancels, end up with 2 colorless Stoppers. Not the best, but having 2 creatures is good. Now Spawning Bed, that's going to be the sweet spot. 6 mana activation, put 3 Eldrazi Scion tokens. So once again, these are lands. Those are really expensive abilities, but having these tacked onto a land, they're pretty much worth their weight in gold. And most of the time when you're building this deck, you don't really have that heavy of color requirements. Most of your spells are not that hard. So you've got Foundry and Spawning Bed that kind of help you propel yourself, leave up some counter spells, then you can activate them to get some nice tokens on the battlefield. Now, some of the really key cards of the deck, Imperial Recruiter, this is an all-star in this deck. Enters the battlefield, search your library for a creature with power 2 or less. This is going to keep you online for pretty much everything that you need in this deck. Young Pyromancer, Talrand, it's going to allow you to grab Fairy Artisan. If you're running Snapcaster, if you're running Baby Jace, Imperial Recruiter is wonderful in a deck like this, especially if you were trying to build up those tokens as quickly as possible. So, and I think I checked the price. It's definitely gone down in price. It's like $20 in paper, and it's like $2 on Magic Online. So there's no reason not to run it. You know, it used to be really, really expensive. It's definitely gone down in price. So I highly recommend picking this one up. It pretty much just turns your deck into like, basically, if you think about Imperial Recruiter, it branches out into so many different ways that really kind of help you further your board state with Brudiclad. Fairy Artisans. This is a wonderful card for the deck. If you're not going to put anything out of this deck tech in your deck, put this one card in here. Fairy Artisans, basically, you just put it on the battlefield and it does the work for the deck. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under opponent's control, we get a token that's a copy of that creature. So it kind of forces your opponent to maybe not play a good creature, but that kind of in a way puts it in this kind of nice little tempo play to where if they do get down a really good creature, we get to make a copy of it. We get that enter the battlefield trigger, and it's also we can use it to kind of propel our token army to help us close the game out. So this is definitely an all-star for the deck. And also, shared animosity. Whenever a creature you control attacks, he gets +1 for each other attacking creature that shares a creature tap with it. If you're keeping score at home, Brudiclad says, hey, all of our tokens become a copy of one token. That's definitely one way to kind of one-hit the table, or especially one-hit an opponent, depending on how many tokens you have on the battlefield. Now, that's going to bring us to the Planeswalkers of the deck. They definitely help us get some really nice card advantage, and at the same time kind of build up that nice token army. We have Shihili the Gifted. That +1 ability, pretty much going to be using that for a lot of the time. Get that servo token on the battlefield. And the same thing with Shihili Rai. We can use that -2 ability to make a copy of a certain token. Pretty much we're going to be using the second Shihili as a card advantage source, scrying and dealing a damage to each opponent. We can use that -2 in a pinch to kind of help build up that board state. If we need to make just have an extra body on the battlefield, that might be the difference between lethal damage and non-lethal damage. And then also Tezzeret and Karn. With Tezzeret, we're always pretty much going to be using that +1. If we've got a nice board state developed with Young Pyromancer, Talran, Murmuring Mystic, we can start to use that 0 ability because we do have a lot of mana rocks in here. So being able to draw 2 cards per turn sometimes is a little bit worth it over those artifact tokens. But just kind of depends on what you've got going on. And same thing with Karn. We can use that ability to get those, that -2 to get those construct tokens. Turn all of your creatures into a construct token. You'll be doing really good right there. Now that's going to bring us to the end of the deck tech. I do have 2 gameplay videos to follow this deck tech, so stick around and watch it, and I hope you enjoy the games. Welcome to Brudiclad. As far as our opening hand goes, we've got 1 colorless land, and don't sound too good, so let's go to Mulligan. We've got Flooded Strand. Yes, I like this. We've got, yeah, I like this a lot, actually. Murmuring Mystic. That gives us some sort of way to hopefully start generating some tokens, so I'll definitely keep on this one. And yes, Ponder. That's about to say we just want some sort of cantrip on top of our library. Let's go and lead off with Island. That way we don't shuffle away that Ponder. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing Brudiclad, the Telchor Engineer. Creature tokens you control have haste at the beginning of combat on your turn. Create a 2/1 blue mirror creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. Now, one of the fun things, or not funny things, but with Brudiclad Telchor, maybe I'm saying it wrong, but anyway, it just reminds me of like a fake company from like Office Space or something, Telcor. I don't know, it just sounds funny. Let's go ahead and let's get the ramp going. I think that's going to be pretty important. So let's go and crack Flooded Strand. Let's go and grab Volcanic Island. Let's go Failwar Stone. That's going to put us on a Chromatic Lantern next turn. I like that. Let's grab Volcanic Island. Let's go 1/2. And then thankfully, our opponent did plop down a Relic of Virginitas, but we don't really have any graveyard stuff going on over here, so that's more power to him. Playing at Scion of the Dragon, so flying. Yeah, Flood Strain, get out of here. We are playing at Scion of the Dragon, flying them for 2 mana activation. Search your library for a dragon permanent card and put it into your graveyard. If you do, Scion becomes a copy of that card until end of turn. Then shuffle your library after you have a pretty cool dragon on the battlefield. Let's see, there we go, hit the land drop. Let's go and get down Island. We could go for Murmuring Mystic. It's going to put us on Ponder and get another token. Yeah, I think I like that. Let's see if we can't get Murmuring Mystic. Well, do we want to give our opponent a Frankie token if we need to stop some sort of removal? Do we want to risk it that quick? Yeah, let's just go and go for Chromatic Lantern. Because that puts us on next turn, go for Murmuring. Yeah, that's we want Murmuring Mystic to stick around, so we're going to go and pass the turn. We're going to hold on to Ponder, and then next turn, that'll leave up Swan Song, and it's a little bit better sequencing on our part, because I'd hate to just roll out Murmuring Mystic and then it just get hit by Path to Exile or some sort of Doomblade or something like that. That would not be, Brudiclad wouldn't be too happy about that. Wouldn't be that much fun. Now, as far as this deck goes, this is I've been really enjoying playing this deck. You know, Magic Commander 18 came onto Magic Online probably about a week ago. My intention was to get down Lord Windgrace and to have this released this past Friday, but unfortunately, I couldn't find a copy of Lord Windgrace. So a bunch of people are wanting to build him, I guess. So anyway, I've got the 99 built. I just couldn't find a copy of Lord Windgrace, but I did find a copy of Brudiclad. So here we are. And actually, Brudiclad was the I always love a land-based deck, but especially something like Lord. Actually, let's do this before I start rambling. Let's go for Murmuring Mystic. I have a tendency to just kind of get in the way of what we're trying to talk about. Let's go and get down Murmuring Mystic. That'll put us on for Ponder. At this point right now, we're simply just going to go and leave up Swan Song because you know, as long as we just kind of keep those instant and sorceries going, even if they do get down Frankie on their side of the battlefield, it's not the end of the world. We got a bunch of 1/1 birds. So once we get 2 of our little mini Frankies, we can block their 1 big Frankie. But yeah, Brudiclad's actually, I always love a graveyard-based deck. I love land deck. And so whenever I saw Lord Windgrace, it was first revealed, I was like, yes, definitely building that. But Brudiclad was the one that was, yes, like I definitely want to build that one because I don't know, it's just such a unique, interesting effect. Opponent's going to go for Dragon Speaker until end of turn. Becomes a 4/4 dragon, 3 damage to target creature, -6. Yeah, that's fine because Swan Song, enchantment, instant, or sorcery. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that Planeswalker. So we'll see if they end up getting Sarkhan turning into a dragon. Yeah, we're going to see the dragon coming across. Once we get down, and Sarkhan does not have trample, if I'm correct. Yeah, it doesn't. So basically, once we go for Ponder, we're going to be able to kind of block Mr. Dragonface over there for a while. We do have to worry about the ultimate, but the ultimate's not too bad. But yeah, so long story short, Brudiclad, that's the one commander that I saw spoiled. I was like, yes, I want to build that. Really unique effect. Especially when you kind of see the blue-red artifact commanders. This is an artifact creature. It's just a really unique take on a Magic card, and I enjoy it. Let's go and get down Island. Let's go and go for Ponder. Yeah, I like that. Let's go for Ponder. That's going to give us a mini Frankie on the battlefield. And then, yeah, ooh, that's a... Well, we could get down Care Keep, I guess. That'll be another... yeah, we want a little bit of action. I was going to put them on any order, and we're definitely going to shuffle our library. Draw into Command Tower. Okay. Let's go and get down Sky Diamond. And the next turn, we'll worry about getting down Brudiclad. The main thing is we want to be able to generate tokens as quickly as possible. And so that's why I was a little bit aggressive with that Ponder. You know, we could have got down Care Keep, but I don't know. It didn't really sound that fun, just kind of tapping down for a little Care token every single time. And plus, you know, if we draw into some sort of big X spell where we can draw a ton of cards, it's going to make for a ton of mini Frankies. All right, I'm just going to go for Relic of Virginitas, and we'll get rid of Ponder. A little creepy Ponder. Oh, yeah. I always forget whenever Ponder pops up. I always like to showcase it. If you didn't know, there's a guy in the background behind the 3 moons right there. So, yep, there's a dude right there. Bet you didn't. Well, I didn't know that for a long time. So if you didn't know, you can mind blown. The more you know. There you go. But yeah, with Brudiclad, you know, I always love like Magic cards that... Like, if you told me to write down, like, hey, like, make a Brudiclad, I would have never come up with Brudiclad on my own. So when I see the card, I'm like, whoa, I didn't know I needed that, but I need it. And that's what Brudiclad was. It's definitely one of those commander cards where I'm like, okay, I like that. That's a very unique effect. It's, you know, and I feel like Brudiclad's one of, like, it's costed very nicely for commander. 6 mana has a very unique effect. If you're getting down Brudiclad at 6 mana, you should be able to get a really nice effect where you can make a copy of all your tokens. And I don't know, it's just really cool to have a blue-red commander that's kind of like an artifact commander and at the same time care about some tokens. So our opponent's got the Sarkhan brothers on the battlefield. Let's check out the Fireblood. Let's get our commanders pulled down just a little bit. +1, discard a card, draw a card. +1, add 2 mana, dragon spells. And then -7, create 4 5/5 dragon creature tokens with flying. So this has sometimes when you play against Scion, they end up building like a 5-color good stuff deck. But this looks like to be a very true to form, very nice little dragon deck. Now, hopefully we can deal with Scion on the battlefield. If we can get rid of Scion, because that may not be too good. Now, there's a lot of really good dragons that Scion can become a copy of. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we draw into something next turn. If we don't, it may not bode too well for us. All right, so we draw into Hedron Archive. That's kind of a start. Some card draw. Let's go and get down Hedron Archive. We'll go ahead and immediately crack that for maybe, like, hopefully we can run into Cyclonic Rift or something. That'll still put us at 2 mana. I was going to crack Hedron Archive. Ooh, drawn to Brainstorm, okay. And then drawn to Stroke of Genius. So let's do this. Let's just go and pass the turn. That's going to put us on Swan Song and Brainstorm, so we'll go for that next turn. We'll see what our opponent decides to go for off of the activation off Scion. I cannot remember the name of the dragon, but there's a dragon that basically just deals damage, I think like equal to its power, whenever it attacks, and that's pretty much going to wipe us out. So I'm hoping that's not it. I'm not really well traversed within the Scion lines of play that you go for with the activations, but I've been on the other end of Scion before, and sometimes it's not good when Scion is left unchecked. So hopefully we can go for Brainstorm, dig a little bit deeper into our library. If not, I'll just go and post this video up as a little bit more of a commentary video, because, I don't know, it's always fun to kind of talk about Brudiclad. But yeah, so basically, until Guilds of Ravnica releases, I'm going to be in the process of really hitting these Commander 18 cards pretty hard for Magic Online. So if you've been waiting for Commander 18 to come on Magic Online, they are available. And to my knowledge, they ported over the entire Commander 18 card pool into the Magic Online. There might be a card here or there they didn't do, but to my knowledge, they got the entire crew on there. So if you've been waiting to build some Commander 18 for Magic Online, it is available. And check out Magic the Gathering. Yeah, there's that little bit of a kind of a market fluctuation where people are talking about Magic Online going away, and that really dropped down a lot of prices. So if you haven't gotten into Magic Online and you want to get into it, now would be the perfect opportunity to get into it. I think like the other day, Overgrown Tomb was like 24 cents. So it was really, I think it's gone up since then, but whenever it enters the battlefield, create a 4/4 dragon creature token with fly. Okay. But yeah, it was just really weird to look at a playset of Overgrown Tombs for like $1. I think they've gone up to like 45 cents, but still, you know, that's a lot of people were selling their collections off, and that really lowered the prices. But so now if you, you know, how long is Magic Online going to stick around? I don't know, but it's definitely going to be around for the next somewhat foreseeable future. And so yeah, it's definitely worth it for, you know, you can pick up a commander deck for like 20, 30, 40 bucks, and that's gonna be a really good commander deck. Even then, you can even build a $5 commander deck. So that's one of the things that's the difference between Magic Online and Magic Arena, is that Magic Arena is really nice. So you get to play the standard card pool. Magic Online, people hate the client, but it gives you something that you can't get anywhere else. Let's see, Skyline, okay. Enters the battlefield at the beginning of your upkeep if you're a Monarch, create a 5/5. Okay, so we can kind of survive that. But basically, it gives you Magic's entire card history. I don't know if there's any plan to support the entire card history over to Arena. And so if Magic Online goes away, then we have this entire playstyle of Magic, Commander, Legacy, Modern, Cube, that's going to go the wayside. So it's kind of one of those, Uncle Sam pointing the finger at you, hey, we need you. Magic Online needs you. You know, let's get this player base going up again. It can definitely coexist alongside Magic Arena because they serve two different purposes. All right, Pota's going to go for Dragon Speaker. So at this point right now, we're looking at a 4/4? Yeah. So we're looking at a 4/4 coming across. Let's be another one. Let's go for Brainstorm. Let's see if we can't just dig a little bit deeper into our library. Thankfully, our opponent didn't go for something too crazy off of their Scion activation. I really appreciate that. Let's get another bird token on the battlefield. Let's go for a Brainstorm. They're drawn to Reform. Okay. And we have to put a couple of these back on top. Reform's not going to do. Now, Reform's one of those really unique cards in that, I'll kind of explain that in a second. Let's put Wandering on top, and we'll go and put Spire Bluff Canal on top, too. Now, probably what our game plan at this point right now is just go for a huge Stroke of Genius. We're going to take a little bit of a hit, but we're going to leave up as many tokens as possible at this point right now. So I'm just going to put us down to 12, and that will be 5 total commander damage. So let's go ahead and lead off with Spire Bluff Canal. And then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. This can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not the biggest Stroke of Genius you can go for, but drawing 5 cards is always nice. So I'll take what I can get, especially with us getting another mini Fraking. Well, actually, now we've got, if we were to meld these 2 bird tokens together, we've got 2 Frankie. We have 1 Frankie token, too. So that's always pretty cool. But yeah, so long story short, and you know, full disclosure, I am sponsored by MTGO Traders, and this video is releasing on their channel, and so that may kind of sound like I'm pro MTGO, but I am. I mean, I've got a channel dedicated to it. Like, I love the form, I love the program. You know, if we don't have Magic Online, my channel doesn't exist. So You know, it's not necessarily that I'm biased or I'm trying to sell cards. It's just like you just don't get this Magic experience anywhere else. Like I can't play Commander. I'm recording at like 6:30 in the morning. Like I can't get this Commander experience on Arena, or I can't go to my local gaming store. You know, maybe it's at night or something. So it's definitely up to the player base to make sure that Magic Online sticks around, and that's going to be getting involved in the actual program itself because it can coexist alongside it. So let's see what our opponent's going to go for with Scion. That's enough. Mr. Rogers talk, do your part, or the for right now. Let's see if our opponents what they're going to go for off of this Scion activation. But the cool thing about Reform is that whenever it dies, create a 33 fish token. When that dies, you get a whale token, then you get a Kraken token. So if something does happen to Reform, we can get this sacrificed. One of the cool things about that is we end up with a 9/9 on the battlefield really quick. Whenever it deals damage to a player, you may pay 3 if you do destroy up to 2 target lands. Okay, so that will definitely get one of our freshly minted mini Franking tokens to block on the Mott because we do not want that combat damage. So let's go and go for Stroke of Genius. We could target our opponent, but I don't think that sounds too fun. We definitely want to target ourselves. All right, so X is going to be 5, and I know our opponent's like counting Cyclonic Rift mana, like, uh-oh. But no, we have Stroke of Genius, so we're going to draw 5 cards. That's going to give us a fresh grip, and that'll give us at least some sort of token to block on... Oh, man, that was not that good of a draw. Let's go ahead and block on the Mott. Do we want to block on another one? That'll put us all the way down to 4. Yeah, there might be some sort of weird random... 4 damage target creature. Hate to get hit with a random burn spell. Let's just put us down to 8. So we'll block with 2 of our bird tokens, and then that'll still put us down. Now we can go for Mystical Tutor during our upkeep. That's going to put us on Cyclonic Rift. That kind of might be our only option at this point right now. But really that's only going to be basically just kind of a band-aid for the turn, because we go for Mystical Tutor, we go for Cyclonic Rift, we send everything back to the hand. We end up with a couple more bird tokens, but I think we're just delaying the inevitable. Anyway, I mean, it's still a line of play to go for. I'm looking at my hand trying to figure out if we can do anything about this, but we'll see what we draw into. But yeah, well, actually, if we see if we draw into, then we're not going to be able to go for that Mystical Tutor line of play. Opponents could go for what was this? Chain to the Rocks? Oh, there it is. Chain to the Rocks. Oh, that's such a weird card. Enchant Mountain you control, and then get rid of that. All right, so now that we've lost Murmuring Mystic, they could still go for Chain to the Rocks. I guess we still force the Cyclonic Rift. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's going to leave us at just 1 more mana left over. Yeah, I guess we go for it. Then they just redeploy Broodmate and then Scion. We're back in the same spot. Yeah, I mean, it's going to buy us some time, so I hate to kind of just go for a weird... kind of a little gut check real quick, but it's kind of our only line of play at this point right now. So I was going to go for Mystical Tutor. We're going to grab that Cyclonic Rift. Where are you, partner? Yep, we'll grab Cyclonic Rift. That's going to go on top of our library. And then anything else. Yeah, let's go and get down Gargoyle Castle. That's going to put us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that'll be 9 total mana. So let's just simply go and pass the turn. We'll go and swing in little baby bird token at Sarkhan. There we go. Swinging it for 1, so we can make the bird illusion token feel happy about himself or herself, whatever the bird is. Opponent's going to go for the Relic of Virginity. So let's go and exile Mystical Tutor. And then, yeah, and I'll probably will end up adding Hour of Devastation after this one. I almost added it to the deck, and I was like, nah, if we get enough tokens going to Brudiclad, we'll be in a really good position. And you run into games like this where you're like, yep, probably should have put... Probably should have put Hour of Devastation here. That would have been a really nice way for us to put something on top of our library. And then end up with some sort of board control. Would have gotten rid of Scion, but they still would have been able to recast Scion. But it would have bought us a little bit better time over Cyclonic Rift, because that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It does kind of bottleneck them on what they want to get down. Glorybringer, Flying in Haste. Okay. So they'll be able to go and get that down. And I do appreciate that our opponent is playing a Dragon deck with double Sarkhans, and they've got the their profile. That's what's really cool. I really like that. Let's go and go for Cyclonic Rift Overloaded. Sorry, buddy. They might have a counterspell. Never know. But at this point right now, it is our only option. So at least next turn. So we're looking at a Glory Bringer swinging in. That's going to be 4 damage with haste. So that's immediately going to put us down to 4. So we almost need to get down another flying creature. Now, if they do end up having some sort of answer for Cyclonic Rift, some sort of counterspell, they only got 1 card in the hand. We can go for Swan Song. There we go. All right. So it's just me and Frankie and Murmuring Mystic. We get Murmuring Mystic back, and then they pass the turn back over to us. They still get that that card filter. Let's see, what is the actual ultimate? Draw 2 cards, then at the beginning of your draw step, draw 2 cards, then at your end step, discard your hand. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, with that Cyclonic Rift and that ultimate, they have to get their hand out, and then they have to discard. They have to discard their hand. So that actually worked out really well. We might be able to bounce back from this now that I think about it. They get down Commander Sphere. Yeah, let's see. I think I'm right about that. They get down one more, Chained to the Rock. So they're gonna they're gonna take Murmuring Mystic for their troubles. But I think if that's right, that's gonna get rid of. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Sarkhan. I think that's right. I think if you instep discard your hand. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so that did work out just a little bit. We still got a bird token. We survive another day. All right. This only downside is we miss Murmuring Mystic, but we can survive past that. Let's go and get down Fairy Artisans. So with Fairy Artisans, non-token creature enters the battlefield. We get to create a token that's a copy of it. And that's definitely going to allow us to start going for... yeah, let's do that. Let's go for Fairy Artisan. And then next turn we can go for Brudiclad. I think I like that. Let's go for Fairy Artisan. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually puts us in just a good enough position with Shahili to get her down, get an extra token going, and then still leave us up on remand. Yeah, I like that. So we can go for remand. We can send Scion back. Let's go and get Wandering down. Let's go and go for Shahili. Boy, this turned around really quick. It helps if you read the board state. Sometimes you just get wrapped up in commentary and little things like that happen. So let's go and get down Shahili the Gifted. Let's go and go for the +1. We get another servo token on the battlefield. Now, the only downside, and I'm just not thought about this, if we go for remand, and they don't get a creature down, that's going to cut us off the Fairy Artisan, actually, line of play to get an extra token for Brudiclad. But at this point, yeah, let's go and swing in with Bird Illusion. Swing in with Mini Frankie. And actually, if you're keeping score at home, we're going to have probably about a 25-turn clock with Mini Frankie. So if you want to put that onto your scorecard, now would be the good time to go for that. Opponent's going to go for Relic of Virginia. Let's go and exile Stroke of Genius. And that way we can threaten that Cyclonic Rift to our opponent. But no Snapcaster in here, so we can't really take advantage of that. They're going to be able to draw 2 additional cards off of the Dragon Speaker. So depending on what they decide to get down, like I mentioned, we can go for that Fairy Artisan to make a copy of it. That's going to give us that extra token. The only downside is we just don't have a way to deal with it. We do have a couple different options to actually destroy creatures. We have Rabid Hybridization, and then we also have Pongify, the monkey card. So we can turn whatever it is into a monkey, but let's see what they get down for the turn. So our opponent tapped down the Badlands, and I just got this really fun... a Thunder Maw Hellkite. Okay. Enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to each creature with flying your opponent's controls. That's going to get rid of our bird token only. If we let that stick around... So we let that come down. They swing in for 5. That's going to put us down to 3. And then we can still block with Fairy Artisans for the next turn. It's going to be 2 more. Actually, we can... Yeah, I think that's okay now that I think about it. Because we'll at least have 2... No, they're going to take care of the bird token. But we can still make a servo token off Brudiclad. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and let Thunder Maw come down. That's going to give us a copy of Thunder Maw. We're going to have a 5/5. Oh, look at that interaction. That was beautiful off the Fairy Artisan. All right, so I forgot whenever it deals damage, it's going to tap those creatures down. So the fact that we made a copy of it, yes, I love that. That's wonderful. All right, so next time we're looking at 4 tokens. That's going to be, I don't know if that's going to be it, but that's going to be pretty good. It's going to be a pretty good chunk of damage. All right, let's see what we get going, though. And if we had an extra mana or something to target, we could go for Swan Song to get a token on our side, but I think that's going to be pretty good. So we draw into Bloodstained Mire. Let's go ahead and go for the +1. Get that servo token. Let's go and go get down Bloodstained Mire. Let's go and go for Brudiclad. And actually, if we go for, that's going to be, I think, 5, 10, 15, 20. I think if we go for the Gargoyle Castle, I think this might be it. Alright, so we're going to get a 3/4 Gargoyle Artifact Creature Token with Flying. We're going to go to our combat. And we're going to choose Thundermaw Hellkite for sure. Oh, look at, that's the crew right there. I think that's going to be it. That's going to be 25 and Thunder. Look at that. Our opponent has no cards in the hand. Good game. We got... Yes, all right. Look at that. Oh, I'm so excited. I truly thought we were going to lose that game, but that Cyclonic Rift really did something. Okay. So we're going to be able to swing across. It's going to be 25. We have our own fleet of Thundermaw Hellkites. Look at that. Put our opponent down to -2. Good game to our opponent. Oh, man, that felt good. That was really nice. And that was pretty cool. Yeah, you can see how fun Brudiclad can be. You get those tokens down, simply just getting down a servo token or sacrificing a Gargoyle Castle to turn it into 3/4. That interaction with the Fairy Artisans and Thundermaw Hellkite, making it our opponent's Thundermaw Hellkite into the battlefield tap, that was so awesome. But we close it out, we stick it out. Glad we went for that Cyclonic Rift. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Brudiclad. As far as our opening hand goes, man, I like this hand. If we had a blue source, that would be perfect. Do we not risk that? We have no way to take advantage of Skull Clamp, so let's go and mulligan. I'm not super wild about that. And yeah, this is okay. We got 2 colored sources and Skull Clamp. Yeah, go back on top, buddy. Hopefully we get a way to take advantage of you. Let's go and get down island. Then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing Brudiclad. Come back here, Brudiclad. There you go. Creature tokens you control have haste. Then at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 blue mirror creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each of the token you control becomes a copy of that token. Let's go and get down mountain. We could go for Skull Clamp, but at this point right now, we're simply just going to wait for Joyra. That way we can get her down, hopefully with 4 mana, and then start cashing in some of that card draw. Playing against Baby Anala. She doesn't even know a word yet. Look how tiny she is. Let's make her a little bit bigger. There we go. Sorry, Anala. Imminence, whenever another non-token wizard you control enters the battlefield under your control, if it's in the command zone or on the battlefield, pay 1. If you do create a token that's a copy of that wizard, it gains haste. Exile at the beginning of the next end step. Then, just still blows my mind. For an activated ability, tap 5, untap wizard you control. Target player loses 7 life. I don't know. This is another one of those commander cards where I'm just like, what? I was like, okay, cool. I mean, because really, right there, if you just did the imminence thing where it just makes a copy of a wizard, that's awesome. But the fact that you have a 7 mana a 7 creature activation, I was like, oh, all right. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. Anything else? No, we're going to pass the turn. Like I mentioned, we're going to hold on to Joyra. Hopefully get her down. That does leave us open to a counterspell, board wipe, something. But as far as sequencing goes, we want to try to get as much card draw as possible, especially playing against something like Anala. So we're going to... it's going to be about our best bet right now. That's kind of the course of action that we're going to be going for. So they're going to go for Faithless Saluting, then we're going to crack Flooded Strand. Now I did. This video hopefully will come after the other video that you just watched. And I did add Hour of Devastation to the deck. So that would have been something nice that we could have had. But... and if I don't end up posting it in sequence, anyway, I didn't have Hour of Devastation in the deck, but it is in here now. It gets rid of our tokens, but at the same time, it's just nice to kind of have a board wipe with this deck. This deck really wants a board wipe, so it's something that's not Steam Vince. It's not going to pay 2 life. Have that come into play tapped. And then we draw into Cascade Bluffs. Yeah, like I mentioned, let's go ahead and get down Joyra. I mean, we are probably running into a counterspell, or any numerous things that are going to be able to take care of this. So we just have this really slow turn 4 play, but... especially, force of all the counter spells. No. All right. Pass the turn. All right, so next turn we'll go for Mimic Vat and Skull Clamp. That's one of those plays where I wasn't wild about it, but if Joyra sticks around, then we're looking at Skull Clamp and Mimic Vat for next turn. So looks like we're probably playing. Oh, this is just getting off to a really bad start. Demonic Tutor, Imperial Seal, Force Spike. I don't know what it is about Force Spike, and especially the white border version of Force Spike that makes it a little bit worse. Look at that art, though. Got the one wizard Force Spiking out of her eye, which is really interesting. All right, so we draw the Mana Vault. Let's go to get down Care Keep. I guess we just start rolling stuff out. I mean, what we can do is actually, let's make a Kobold token. Actually, let's do this first. Let's do this. Let's go for Skull Clamp. See if this sticks. All right, that does stick. Let's make a kobold token. Let's add this double red. That way we can have a real angry kobold token. And then we're going to equip Skull Clamp onto that token. Now, if they do have some sort of spot removal in response to that, so be it. But if not, we're going to be able to at least be drawing 2 cards a turn, which I really like. Ooh, draw the supplant form, which is supplant form. Supplant? Yeah, I think supplant form. Anyway, if I'm wrong, I do apologize. But basically, this is kind of what one of our win conditions for the deck is. You know, we want to slowly build up our board state, get a lot of tokens on the battlefield, where there's just little 1/1s, little care tokens, little artifact tokens from something like Karn. Once we build up those tokens, we get to that 6 mana, 8 mana slot, and we go for supplant form, bounce a creature back to their hand, we get a token that's a copy of it, and we can use whatever their finisher creature is to be our entire finisher. So, and I think we might be seeing a Living Death sometime soon. More than likely. All right. Hopefully we don't. Let's go and get down the island. So if they go for Sire of Insanity, Core Augur, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 total mana at this point right now. We get down Mana Vault, that's going to put us at 8 mana. Do we want to tap out for Brudiclad, especially if we were going to be running into something like a Living Death? Let's go for Mana Vault. Actually, we have enough mana for Supplant. So let's get down Mana Vault. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we actually don't have enough to go for Care Keep and a Skull Clamp token, but I still like leaving up form, so let's do this. Let's just simply go and pass the turn. If we need to make a copy of a token and then go for Skull Clamp later, we certainly can. But if we're about to run into like a Living Death or something, because that was kind of weird that our opponent went for Buried Alive. Maybe it's just more of a proactive Buried Alive or something they're trying to set up later on. But if they got a Living Death, I don't really want to run Brudiclad out into that just yet. So we're going to at least kind of force them to do. All right, Animate Dead. Okay, so now what we can do with this is, on Animate Dead, they do get Core Augur back, but we get to make a copy of it. And that's really going to attack our opponent's hand. No, excuse me, Consecrated Sphinx. We're into some really nice card draw. I thought they chose Core Augur. Yeah, they're going to be pretty far away. I like jamming this. So let's see if we can't go for form. Bounce Consecrated Sphinx back to the hand? Yeah, let's do it. Unfortunately, we do have to tap down Mana Vault. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. All right, so we're going to send Consecrated Sphinx back to the hand. That's going to give us our very own Consecrated Sphinx. And if this sticks, if they've got a counter spell, they've got it, but I at least like going for this particular... Oh, dang it. Pyroblast, okay. All right, so now that they're going to get down Consecrated Sphinx, this is not... Oh, man, that's... 4 Spike and Pyroblast. All right, so not going to pay... And I know our opponent's just sitting there just like the big old smile on their face. I'm not going to be able to pay for that. Okay, drawn a Thran Dynamo, which is not really what we want to see. Dang it, that was hard. We had to go for it. I figured they had an answer, but it was worth to put it all on the battlefield for that. So at this point right now, we go for Thran Dynamo. I still think that gives us just enough mana to go for a Care Keep activation. Either way, we still... And this is going to give them a lot of card draw, but man, it is what it is. Let's get that token down. Let's go for Thran Dynamo. And then we're going to go ahead, yeah, I'm not wild about this play, to be perfectly honest, but we got to get some card draw going. And they're going to be drawing quicker, and we just hope that we somehow do it better than them, but more than likely not. This is definitely an uphill battle. All right, so they're going to be able to draw 4 cards off of that deal, and then we still don't hit anything. All right, anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn. So, yeah, that's the game. This game pretty much hinged on sending that Consecrated Sphinx back to our opponent's hand. The fact that they did have Pyroblast to counter target blue spell, that was pretty nice. So that's they do swing in for 3. That's not really going to get our life total down, but a lot of these 1-versus-1 commander games, they get down to card advantage, and whoever has the better card advantage are simply just going to win the game. And that's definitely the case when we're playing against an Anala deck like this, that they can certainly generate a lot more card advantage than we can keep up with. So we'll see what we draw into. We're not going to scoop it up just yet, but it's, man, it is a uphill battle. We need to draw into some sort of removal for that that Consecrated Sphinx. Man, I hate Consecrated Sphinx. That's why I don't run it in any decks, because it just... I mean, you get it down and it just wins the game, and it makes people scoop. If you ever wonder why I don't run it, that's pretty much why. So we can get down Shahili, we can go for Chromatic Lantern, we get the Kobold tokens going. I guess we just do some setting up. So let's go ahead and go for Thran Dynamo. It's not looking good. Go for Chromatic Lantern. We'll go for Mimic Vat. And then we'll just start filtering with Shahili. Yeah, I think that'll work. So let's go and tap down red and then double blue. And we can still generate a Kobold token too. So and if they've got a counterspell on Shahili, they can certainly go for it. But if we do somehow deal with Consecrated Sphinx, Mimic Vat's going to be a really good option for us. Same thing with Chromatic Lantern. So it's going to go for the +1. Let's get the Scry going. The Scurry, the Fever. Let's put that on the bottom. Don't want that. And then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So if we can somehow get a token on the battlefield, we might. The fun thing about Brudiclad is that it is, you can have some really explosive turns. Oh, Vampiric Tutor. Oh, yucky. All right, let's let them get that going, and then we'll see what we kind of roll into. So they did grab something on top of their library with Vampiric Tutor. Yeah, this was pretty bad. This is kind of like I'm getting ready to show you Brudiclad, and it's just like it's on fire. Like I pulled the deck box out, and it's just on fire. Like what happened? Anala happened to it. That's what happened. All right, so we've got Core Augur to get the Consecrated Sphinx swinging in for a 3/6. And then they're simply just going to go and pass the turn. So we'll see what we're rolling into. We'll go for Shahili. Definitely go for that activation. Do we untap Mana Vault? Yeah, let's go and untap Mana Vault. Yeah, we're going to go and pay that because there's probably not much we're going to Fate this Looting. Okay, that's going to give them a bunch of card draw. Let's go for Shahili activation. Scry 1. Polluted Delta. Ooh, that's not good. Man, yeah, that's just, let's go for Fate this Looting. It's going to give them card draw, but I mean, it's just at this point right now, yeah, Mana Crypt, Sulfur Falls, then we have to discard 2 cards. Yeah, I'm going to go and scoop this one up, man. This is one of those, we're just not going to find an answer for Brudiclad. Not for Brudiclad, for Consecrated Sphinx. I mean, I know what's in the deck, and we just literally don't have an answer for Consecrated Sphinx at this particular point right now, so good game to our opponent. Definitely enjoyed it. Yeah, like I mentioned, we're playing against a deck that can, they're running a ton of tutors. Not that tutors are bad, it's just, long story short, I know what our deck is capable of, and we're definitely underclassed in this particular matchup, at least at this point in the game right now. So, good game to our opponent. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome MTG content just like this. And make sure to tap the bell icon to be notified whenever a video is made live. If you want to keep watching content, here are 2 more videos for you. This video and many others are sponsored by MTGO Traders and Cape Fear Games. Buy and sell digital singles to build your online collection today with MTGO Traders, and get your paper singles, accessories, and much more from Cape Fear Games. Whatever your Magic needs, both places have you covered.